Well, to discuss this and the week that was in the White House, we're joined by Professor Ed Blakely, who's a former White House staffer for both Republican and Democratic presidents. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Ed, great to have you with us, of course. It has been yet another momentous week in news surrounding the US president in particular. Of course, there's been a lot of comment around the significance of these latest developments, some suggesting that we should expect this from North Korea. But what element do you think has the US President Donald Trump added to this dynamic?
First, he had a victory in the UN. Celebrate it. Join with your partners, particularly the Chinese. Ask the North Koreans to drop the rhetoric. So take the offensive by being on top of it. Don't aggravate it. And what he did was he aggravated not only the North Koreans, but the Chinese, the Germans, and our supposed allies are now aggravated. And his popularity went down and not up. So he's doing all these wrong things. Why? He needs a distraction. The distraction about what's went on his campaign and the like. He needs that distraction. He also needs to look presidential in his mind by taking tough action. He has the wrong message at the wrong time, and now his people have to clean it up.
But Ed, that is such a dangerous game to play, given how this is developing, and given also that the world leaders have said enough's enough. It's reached the point of a state where it could be military intervention.
Well, let's hope not. Let's hope not. Consider this. Tillerson, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, all of them have said, let's be calm. So I think in his own group, there are people who are pulling him back. But now we have the other side. The North Korean, I cannot measure this man. He may want to be a hero on his last day. We just cannot measure this man. So when the president says locked and loaded, the United States has to be ready for anything. And I hope the United States is. But I hope the defensive part of that is the important part. The Chinese are now taking the lead, as you'll know. They're saying all sides back off. They have the leverage point here, not the United States.
Interesting that you mentioned there at the outset that as far as the sanctions are concerned, that they had a win in the UN with the Chinese supporting those further sanctions against North Korea. So that was a very important point of leverage for Donald Trump and the Americans. But you're saying essentially he blew it after that.
He blew it. And he should have been statesperson-like in saying, look, we are now all aligned. North Korea, please, you align up with us, and maybe we can reach an accord. That's what happened in Iran. Tough sanctions, ease off. Now the Iranians are in the right box. The North Koreans have nothing to gain by a war. They're the ones who really suffer. Everyone in the Korean Peninsula suffers. So let's not let them think they have something to gain by being bellicose.
Ed, as you've worked in the White House in different administrations, what do you imagine is actually happening there at this point in time? Given what we're hearing from the US president, but what you're saying is those around him are actually trying to have a different approach.
Well, I've been there in a situation like this, and I won't go into it. But at that point, everyone has to be lined up. The military has to be lined up. All the intelligence agencies have to be lined up. The intelligence agencies are key because they're monitoring is these missile emplacements in the north. They're monitoring gun emplacements over Seoul. If those things start tracking, then there's an engagement possibility. I'll tell you, I was sweating bullets, literally, when we were in a similar situation. It's very important that the intelligence people get to the military people all the right information because there are a series of actions that have to be taken. The president has to know those actions are being taken.
Ed, in previous weeks, you've said that the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, was preparing to walk. He's still there, but do you feel as though he has the president's ear and is a wise counsel to him in this situation?
Well, it's interesting. Tillerson is now lining up other people. He's lining up Haley, the UN secretary. I don't think she had the drafting of this done with Trump. He might have helped his son, but he didn't help Nikki. He didn't help Nikki Haley. So Tillotson and Haley crafted this. Tillotson is in the Asian territory now, crafting other deals. The military are softening things. They're not sending the ships up close to North Korea. They're backing off. They're sending the kind of signals we want to. I'm not certain how the National Security Advisor is acting in this case. In other presidential administration, the National Security Advisor is advising and telling the president exactly what's going on so he knows his role. But the key role of the president is get the American people on side, and that is not happening. The American people are very much divided over this because American warfare in the last 30 years has been a disaster, and no one wants that again.
Indeed. I think we will leave it there for this week. Professor Ed Blakely, wonderful to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's hope we have another week.
Thank you.